What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Uber Success. Is driving for Uber worth it? Is driving for Uber worth it? Is it? Is driving for Uber worth it? This is a good question. This is a very good question. Well, first off, if you came across this video, you are either one, thinking about driving for Uber, or two, have already been driving for Uber and really trying to consider whether it's worth it or not. Now, what a lot of people seem to be doing these days is saying all the positive things about Uber. Like, Uber is great for this, that, and all the other reasons Uber is great. And by the way, Uber is so good that you should sign up right now. Hey, I'm not hating, do your thing. And it's not like I'm not gonna put my link down in the description. If after watching this video, you truly think that Uber is for you and you want to get started driving for Uber, shameless plug. But my thing here is telling half the story is not telling the whole story. Uber can be great and it does have its moments, but Uber can also be, well, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not so great. Seriously, there's some days when I'm like, what the like, I would rather cut my own foot off.
Oh my God! I did it! We're saved! What's wrong? Wrong foot.
It's really not like sunshine and roses all the time when you drive for Uber. See, my thing is you gotta know the facts, because in order to make the best educational decision for you, you gotta know the facts. You just gotta know the whole story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So with this video, I'm going to be giving you both the pros and the cons of driving for Uber, as well as who I really think could benefit from Uber in the first place. So enough talking, let's get right to it. Let's start with the bad news. What are the cons of Uber? One con about Uber is that it can be very time consuming, meaning that you're trading your time for money. And sometimes it's not at a flat rate. Like if you worked a regular job that paid you $20 an hour, you knew whether you were working or whether you were taking a mini nap without the boss knowing, you're gonna make $20 an hour. Well, with Uber, that's not necessarily the case. Now, some people think that they're gonna start driving for Uber and you're just going to be driving and running the clock, getting paid the whole time you're on the road. Well, a real big downside is unless you're working on a weekend and it's like popping that weekend, there's potentially going to be a lot of downtime. There are gonna be times when you're gonna be sitting on the road wishing, hoping, wanting to drive and make money, but no one's gonna call. It's just gonna be crickets. And you'll sit there frustrated, like you're wasting your time. And there's some days you can be out for 5 hours and one day you made like $100 and the next day you made 20. Another con about Uber is wear and tear on your car. Man, like significant wear and tear. Especially if you have nothing else to do and you're thinking about doing this full time, please be prepared to be dishing out money just to maintain your car. I think when I first started, I was driving like full time. I put like 12,000 miles on my car in like 3 months. Yeah, like 12,000 miles in 3 months. That's a lot of wear and tear on your car. Now, luckily for me, that was an older car, so I could have cared less. I was gonna run that thing till it didn't run anymore. Regardless, you still gotta remember and keep in mind that as you're driving out there, your car is taking a hit. Now, if you're leasing the car though, then that's a whole nother different story. And if you're interested in learning about the Uber leasing program, check out the video that I have down below in the description as well. Another con about driving for Uber is that there's not much interaction with other people. Passengers and stuff, yeah, I'll get to that. But I mean, like, you know, if you're working in a typical office or you're 9 to 5, you have other coworkers that you can kind of hang out and mingle with and, you know, talk about the drama that the boss is facing, all that kind of stuff. You don't really get that with Uber. In fact, the only time you really have a community is online. Like if you join like a Facebook group forum, or like right here when you're watching other Uber people talk about their stories online and you're like, hey, that reminds me of my Uber experience, you know, like stuff like that, you know. So if you're a big people person and you like to like go to happy hour after work with your coworkers, this job is not the best way to find friends in that sense. Now, there is a pro to that, which I'll be talking about later. Another con about driving with Uber that a lot of people don't really bring up, but it's so general, is safety. Just to keep it 100, I remember I was talking to another Uber driver a couple weeks back and he just felt uncomfortable being on the road for such a long period of time, which is actually, you know, I didn't really think about that. As an Uber driver, you're on the road a lot longer than most typical drivers are. So you really just gotta be careful. Like when you're driving, especially during the morning, during rush hour, or at night, if you're about that life with the night crowd, it can tend to be dangerous on the roads. Like people get in accidents all the time. God forbid anything happens, but you do increase your chances of being one or something happening the more you drive as a rideshare driver. So just be careful, you know, be safe, make sure you got insurance, and yeah, you know, like chances of that happening are slim, but still something to consider because, you know, a lot of people don't really talk about that. All right, let's talk about pros. What are some reasons that Uber is just great? Awesome. Like, it's a great opportunity if you're looking for something to fill this need. Uber is where it's at. One big thing is ultimate flexibility. You can drive for Uber whenever you want, for as how long you want. It's just so flexible. Wake up in the morning and you just want to make a few extra bucks, turn on the app and go out driving. Chilling at home at night and you're just bored, but you know, you want to make some money, turn on the app and go. You know, it's very flexible. It's great having that feeling that you're in control of your financial flow. Whenever you need it, you can just go out there and get it. You know what I mean? If you're running short on your bills this month, or, you know, rent's coming in a week and you didn't really plan correctly and you might be a little short, instead of, you know, kind of pulling out your hair because you don't know how you're gonna get the money, or you gotta wait till next weekend because you got paid last weekend, you can just turn on the app, go out there, make what you gotta make, and you're good, you're set. So that's one great thing about Uber, is the flexibility is awesome, and it's something that I personally just really enjoy. But now you can make a really good income driving for Uber, but it does take work. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this here, like, it just requires some work, you know, but if you put in the work, you can make good money. And also, you're not limited to just making money by driving people. If you want to take the more business route and the business side of Uber, you can also offer free rides and sign up drivers, and you get compensated for that as well. So there's multiple ways to make money driving for Uber. You don't have to limit yourself to the typical pickup and drop off that a lot of Uber drivers just do and are okay with, because that's really all you need, to be honest. Another pro of Uber is meeting new people. Now, if you don't like to meet new people, this can be a con. So fit that in whichever category you want. But for me, I love meeting new people, different backgrounds, different cultures. You hear a ton of stories. I mean, I've met some interesting people, gain knowledge and wisdom, or just hear funny stories or crazy stories from. And you know, you never really realize how open drunk people are, from like hearing plots to break up with their boyfriend for like 10 years, to talking about how this guy just got off his third Tinder date on the same day. I mean, and everything in between. Yeah, it's a lot. And some people just don't want to talk at all, but that's fine too. Another pro about driving for Uber that you can fit in your category of pros and cons is driving, right? I mean, you got to be a person that just likes to drive. If you don't like to drive, don't do Uber. I mean, I know it's a great way to make money and I know it's flexible, but if you really just don't like driving, save yourself the heartache, because you will just drive yourself crazy. It's only a matter of time before you're just throwing yourself into the highway. You're just like, I don't even care anymore. You know, and if you're that type of person that likes to drive or doesn't mind long drives, then Uber is definitely something that you consider, because that's a big plus about Uber. I mean, it's literally your job is to drive. So you might want to at least like it somewhat if you're thinking about doing Uber. Another pro about Uber is your ability to network. Now, if you're an entrepreneur like myself, this is awesome. This is a great way just to get to connect with other people. You know, I don't know, I can't count how many times I've been able to exchange business cards or talk about my product or service or opportunity, and people do the same. But it's a great way to just be able to network with people, to connect with like-minded individuals, and to just toss around ideas to see what other things are happening around the world. And you know, it's just a great way to branch out in a network. So if you are the type of person that are looking for that, and you don't really feel comfortable going to networking events, or you know, you just don't have the time to get out there and network, Uber is great because it brings the networking to you. Like, it's easy. All right, so with all that said, is Uber for you? Is Uber worth it? What's the conclusion? Well, I think Uber is great. There are some cons to it, but if you like to drive, if you want to make money, if you love the flexibility aspect of it, if you don't mind meeting new people and you love to network and like the idea of creating multiple streams of income, Uber is for you. Now, if none of those things seem appetizing to you and you don't like driving, or you kind of agree more with some of the cons that I gave at the beginning of this video, then don't waste your time, because you're just gonna make yourself upset and end up quitting before you even get started. So I hope that video was helpful for you guys. I hope you got value from this video. Now, if you're interested in considering about driving for Uber, check out the link that I have down below in the description. Just to sign up, you get a $200 extra bonus. If you found value from this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below and let me know what are some of your pros and some of your cons with driving for Uber. And also don't forget to subscribe to my page, where I'll be bringing you more tips and tricks about driving for Uber and just how to be a boss entrepreneur. With that being said, I'm Gabe E, and I'll catch you on the next video. Is driving for Uber worth it? Is it?